Hello. I'm going to be demonstrating Lab 6, configuring and managing group policy objects, GPOs. So we're going to understand how to create, configure, and manage GPOs, apply GPOs to control user and computer settings in a Windows Server environment, and practice applying GPOs in different scenarios such as user account management and security settings. So before we perform the demonstrating this lab, we need to have a Windows Server 2022 VM configured as a domain controller, one or more client machines joined to the domain, and a basic knowledge of Active Directory and PowerShell that we've been learning throughout this course. So first, I have the Windows Server VM here. I have the client machines joined to the domain here. So if we just click about this, we'll see that it's joined to this domain. It's joined to the domain, which is my name studentnumber.com. And then so we want to verify the domain controller and client connectivity. We want to ensure that they're joined to the same domain. So if I go here, computer management console, Active Directory users and computers, and then we'll see that the VM is linked to the domain, this client VM. And then use the ping command to verify connectivity. We just need to PowerShell here. PowerShell. Okay, PowerShell. Right, so administrator. So we just need to find the IP addresses, or we could just ping the host name as well. That doesn't matter. IP config. So ping 10.0.0.0. So the client will ping the server, and the server will ping the client. So 10.0.0.5. Oh no. Ping. And we'll see that they are able to ping each other, so the network connectivity is properly configured. Okay, so for task 2, open group policy management console on the server VM, we would just go just search for group policy management, and then here we have our group policies, and then we want to create one called finance. Let's see if we delete it. Right, okay, so then we want to go here and then new organizational unit and call it finance. And then that organizational unit, we have to link a group policy to it, which then we create the group policy. So we have to go to ADUC, and then here in our organizational unit, we have to create some computers or users, which will be on the client VM. And then we can enforce the group policies to the accounts on the client VM. So we just create user and then some user called test user, and then user login name test user, next, and then password, and then we just create that. Right, and then here right, and then we would if we refresh this, right, and then we would Okay, so we have to create a new GPU named user account restrictions. So we just go here, create a new we created user account restrictions. Okay, account restrictions. And then we already done this, create an organizational unit called finance, make sure it's user accounts in it. And then we want to go back to finance and then link a group policy object. And we will link user account restrictions to it. Now we've linked the group policy object to the organizational unit. And then configure the group policy object to enforce password complexity and account lockout policies. Okay, so to configure the GPO to enforce password complexity and account lockout policies, we just have to go to our group policy object user account restrictions that we had made. And then we just go here to edit. And then we go to computer configuration, policies, and then Windows settings, and then security settings. Oops. Security settings, and then account policies, password and account lockout policies. This is where we will change the account password and lockout policies. So and then we go to password policy, and then we have to define the enforce password history to 5 passwords. 5 passwords. And then we will minimum password length will be 8 characters to be enforced. And then account lockout threshold. So no, that would be under account lockout policy, and then account lockout threshold. So after 5 invalid attempts. And the whole reason that we're enforcing these account and password lockout policies is to ensure that passwords are complex enough to resist brute force attacks, enhance the security of user accounts, and protect against common attack vectors. So weak passwords would be easy to crack, again using either brute force or dictionary attacks. And then if we have if we have an account lockout threshold limited to 5 attempts, then repeated failed login attempts will lock out the person that's trying to attempt to log in that many times. And then it could also be logged, and then it could just notify the administrator that somebody's trying to break in. And that's the whole point, that we're creating a group policy so that it could be enforced on all the client computers that are connected to the domain. So the new GPO should be created and configured with the appropriate settings, which we did here. 5 login attempts, for example. And then task 4, link the GPO to the finance organizational unit, which if we go to here we'll see that it's been linked to the finance organizational unit, and make sure the GPO is effective on the endpoint, which is our client. Like to make sure the GPO is effective on the endpoint, meaning that it's applied on the endpoint, which is our client VM. We have to configure the GPO to add the finance users to the remote desktops user group, because this is set up using remote desktop. So once I do that, it will allow the users who log in as that user on the finance organizational unit, and then we'll be able to see the group policy applied, and then the account lockup policy we'll be able to test it. So once we just have to go to the GPO link to the finance organizational unit, which is user account restrictions, and then we just click edit. We go to computer configuration, policies, Windows settings, security settings, and then we go to restricted groups, add group, and we call this group remote desktop users. And then this group is a member of add, and then we just yep. Right, test user. Apply. And then once we've clicked apply, we have to just have to apply the group policy here using the command GPU update /force. And this will apply the group policy. So we see the computer policy updates, and the user policy update. So the computer policy has been updated. So now we just have to go on the client VM, now we just have to go to the client VM. Now we just have to go to the client VM, go to computer management, and then local users and groups. we'll find that test user has been added to remote desktop users. So we see that the group policy was successfully applied. And then if we go to just the event log, event viewer, and then we go to Windows log and then system. Find that the group policy was successfully detected and applied. Okay, we also want to make sure that that whatever we configured actually works. So what I'll be doing is we have here that the GPO will be applied to the remote desktop users group, which where test user is, and that exists in the finance organizational unit. So that way we could just again reapply the group policy. Right, and then we can test it out with the remote desktop. Right, just go. So we can test it out with the remote desktop. We just go here and then connections. So we could test this out with the remote desktop. Just go here and then public IP address for the Azure VM, and then we just click connect, and then we could username could be a specific user within the domain, which was test user, and then we just have to enter the password wrong 5 times. Right, so now it says unable to, the account has been locked due to too many sign-in attempts. So section 3, applying and testing GPOs to different scenarios. So we have to apply GPO for software installation, create a new GPO named software development policy, and find a way to create a software installation policy, and then add a software package for deployment. So I just went to the group policy. First I tried Firefox, but that was too big, so what I ended up doing is I ended up picking Microsoft Teams installation package instead. So then I just created a new group policy object, call it software installation policy. Software deployment policy. And then I can split, then I have to edit the group policy. And then I have to make sure that it's properly linked as well. So I just link the finance organizational unit to the software deployment policy. Then I have to add the remote desktop users group to allow it to perform the software installation. Now we just have to edit the deployment policy and then add the installation package. So we just go to computer configuration, then we go to policies, then software settings, software installation, then we just have to new and then package, and then Teams, Windows, assign it, and then it was added with the source where the driver can be found on the local server. And then we just have to now apply the group policy change. Right, so we just go to our client VM and then we just group policy update slash force. And now this kind of takes a while depending on how big the package is. Some are really big and some are moderate size. And then we just want to check the event viewer. So that's where we can check. And then if you just wait for it to load. And then I'll show you if there's any errors in applying the group policy, if there are any errors during software installation. And then we just have to wait for this to be completed. Yeah, and then they give warnings about like the client machine has to restart, and then it was completed. So we just have to wait a little bit longer. And that makes sense because in an IT environment, you're deploying to like different machines, and that will take longer depending on how more machines that you have and your how strong your network is. Right, so it was completed. So all we just have to do is restart it. Uh, yeah, so it did give some errors, but I think it just says it couldn't apply the changes because it requires a restart. But yeah, so I just gotta restart it. Restart the client machine. Okay, so now that our client VM has restarted and now it's just connecting through remote desktop services. Um, yeah, let's take. Okay, and then now we just have to go to the list of programs that are in the system. If we go to a list of installed programs, so if it's not, so we just have to either look for if the program is there, or it could be still be installing. We just go to control panel or add or remove programs. There we can find a list of programs that are installed in the system, and we'll check if the software was installed or not. Yeah, and we saw that the teams the installers found on our client machine, that demonstrates that the group policy deployment was successful. Yeah, and then we verify that the software is installed. The settings been applied by checking system properties. Right there. So for troubleshooting and best practices, we're just going to open the group policy results wizard. And then yeah, so it just gave us the different like a summary report of the different group policy maybe errors that were detected, and there was an error detected, but that was from like probably the previous lab where I had a issue with configuring WSUS. But if you keep scrolling down, you'll find that the package installation was that was successful. So yeah, we saw that it was successful here. And yeah, and then we see here that the installation for Microsoft Teams, as an example program that I used, it was successful. Right, you can see it here, and so group run group policy results /r uh, on the client machine, and this verifies to us which GPOs were applied. Yeah, so the software installation policy, AWS patch deployment, and the user account restrictions. These are the group policies that we applied so far. So that covers all of it, and this really expanded my knowledge of how group policies work and how we can configure them in an IT environment and deploy different policies to our client machine.